Now we are just a few days out from Jerome Powell's policy speech at Jackson Hole. Azoria CEO James Fishback joins me now. James, great to see you. Thank you for being here. We just had Scott Shellady on telling us that Powell almost always finds a way of disappointing investors. I'm wondering, do you think he's going to do it again?
Well, I certainly hope not, David. The truth of the matter is that as we sit here today, the Fed funds futures market is pricing an 80% probability of a quarter point, a 25 basis point rate cut at the September meeting. That seems about right, but I'd like Powell to open the door for an even larger rate cut because the truth is, he was wrong. He was wrong in March. He was wrong in May, wrong in June, wrong in July, not to lower rates because the tariff-induced inflation has not materialized. Since President Trump took office, inflation of the CPI variety has annualized 1.9%. That is not at the Fed's target, David. That's below the Fed's target. And so when my friend Bill Pulte, the U.S. Federal Housing Director, comes out and says that once again, the Fed is hallucinating about the data, he is absolutely right. They should look at the real data in the real economy, do the right thing, and lower rates for once.
Now, you know what he's going to do. He's going to focus all of his attention on the PPI, saying that that's the real indicator and the core there is what's driving us. Will that fly at all?
I don't think so. I don't think investors like ourselves, we're not going to buy that because we don't buy the cherry-picking panicans like Jerome Powell. If you look at the July PPI numbers, 2/3 of the increase came from services.
Yeah.
Services are not being tariffed.
Yes.
And so it just doesn't line up with the facts and realities. I wish Jerome Powell would go up there and once in his life, be humble and say he was sorry. Sorry to Americans for disappointing them by not lowering rates in line with the data. And I got to tell you the truth, David. Say sorry to the President of the United States. He started this whole histrionic nonsense earlier this year about tariff this and tariff that. The inflation has not materialized. If you're data dependent as opposed to politically reactive, you will do the right thing at the press statement later this week in Jackson Hole and signal that a September rate cut is coming, and it would actually be larger than expected. The market is already pricing in a 25 basis point cut. Why not guide the market to an even larger amount?
Yeah, he's not going to apologize. You know that. He's not going to do that. Not at this point. After what we saw when the president went to the new Fed building, he's not going to do that. Next one, James. You say that Blackstone is having a massive negative impact on the single-family home market. This is an important story. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, the truth is that Blackstone owns 446,000 housing units across the country. So right off the bat, that's nearly 500,000 homes that Americans cannot buy. When I think about my dad growing up in the 1960s, 30-year-olds, half of them owned their home and were married. Today, only 15% of 30-year-olds own their home and are married. And so part of that has to go to the fact that there are large private equity giants, multi-billion-dollar giants like Blackstone, who are coming into our communities, bidding above families, using capital from foreign investors like the Chinese investment funds, and being taxed at a much cheaper rate, the carried interest rate, as opposed to the wage rate here in America. And so there's a real issue that not enough people are talking about. I put out this proposal last week that says that we should cut property taxes to zero on homes that are owned by Americans. And you fund that, David, by doubling or even tripling the property taxes owned by large-scale investment firms like Blackstone. Single-family homes belong to American families. They are not an asset to be traded amongst hedge funds. They belong to families who are trying to grow old, start a family, and do right in their community.
By the way, we heard that proposal also from the White House suggesting it be for not only just for Americans, but for Americans' primary homes. Would you include vacation homes in that?
I would not. I would not.
Okay.
I would just focus on primary homes.
Yeah.
If you want to have a beautiful home on 30A or in Naples, that's fine. You can do that. But we've got to look out for folks who are just starting out. Secondary, tertiary homes should not be exempt.
All right, James, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. James Fishback.